questions we get a lot here at KSP is, well, you tell us to practice. You tell us to practice a lot, especially when it comes to presentation skills. And you would recommend we do that. How? And why do I have to practice it? I'm pretty sure nobody else in my team is practicing it. I'm pretty sure the senior leadership isn't even practicing it. Well, let me tell you a secret about that. You don't know for sure that they don't rehearse what they're going to say. And do you want to be like everybody else? Or do you want to be the person that everybody's willing to follow because part of your leadership is always improving? It's part of what's going to differentiate you as a project manager who is also a project leader from people who are good project managers. Enough said. Okay. So a couple of things about practicing that also becomes really, really important. Back in the dark ages, prehistoric times, as it were, we were still videoed. I went to work for a company that no longer exists, by the way. It was called Pacific Bell. And as part of being part of the marketing team, they wanted to know, how good is this kid? Yeah, I was a kid at the time. How good is this kid at public speaking, at holding an audience? For this next bit, I need a prop. I'll be right back. I know, that seemed awfully fast, didn't it? The beauty of jump cutting. When I did my presentation, we were all seated around a beautiful oval table, and I was making notes on occasion, and then on other occasions, I was listening. And it turns out by watching that video, I learned something. I learned that in default, I looked like I had a pen coming out of my ear. Because when I was listening to other people closely, I was also holding the pen right up to my ear. I don't know about you, but I think this looks kind of dorky, doesn't it? I know, yes, I know. Nobody uses the word dorky either. God, I'm getting old. So a couple of things that you want to remember. Yes, you do want to practice. And it's important to you because really, do you want to be that me? I still have shivers thinking that that video was wandering around somewhere. I kind of hope it got destroyed. So a couple of quick hints. One, record in landscape. I know this may sound like it shouldn't matter, but it does. It makes it a whole lot easier for places like YouTube to be able to host your video. And besides, honestly, that's kind of how people see you anyway. And if you record in landscape, the platform has the option to make it look like you recorded it in portrait. But if you record it in portrait, they can't do anything with stuff that doesn't exist. There you go. Okay. Second, look at the camera. I know. You know what's really weird? If you're using something like Zoom or a private go-to meeting, you're going to see your own face on the screen. And if you're not careful, it may feel like you should be talking to you because you're practicing, and no. And here's what I mean by that. Right now, I'm looking directly at you through the camera. But if I were to drop my eyes and make eye contact with myself, which we're going to leave alone as a whole nother disturbing thought process, this is what it looks like. And you probably don't realize it, but you lose just a little bit of the connection that you build with the people that are listening to you, that you want to perhaps persuade or influence, because you're not making eye contact with them. I have a friend who, no joke, got a blue contact lens, the kind that you can use to color your eyes if you want, and put it over the lens with a little sign on either end that said, "Look at the blue eye." And I remember thinking, oh, come on, that doesn't work, does it? Maybe it does. Okay, so let's see. Last but not least, remember, these are just basics. Please position your camera so that the camera is eye level. If you're using a laptop, that may mean that you have to lift it up. It may mean that you might want to get a laptop stand that tilts a little bit so it's got a decent angle. But you want the camera to be eye level with you. Otherwise, it could look like this. Or this. You'll have a perpetually surprised look on your face because you're still trying to see the camera. Yeah, it's in there somewhere. It really is. And then, of course, there's this. The camera's there, but my monitor is here. And everybody gets your profile shot the entire time. The other thing is that plays heck with the sound because the sound is coming from the microphone that is either part of your headset or an external mic like my little Yeti. See? And you've just given yourself a huger opportunity for echoing because the further you are away from this microphone, the further you are away from clarity in your audio. Okay? So, a couple quick things. One, record in landscape. It can be trimmed. If you record in portrait, it's in portrait forever. And then you get these big black borders that looks like your video has somehow gone into mourning. Two, look at the camera. I know it's not somebody's eyes, but look at the camera. Making that eye contact, even though it's a virtual eye contact, can still help build just a little bit more of a relationship and more trust with the people who are on the other side of that camera. And three, please make sure to position your camera so that it is eye level. No funky angles, no weird backgrounds. Please position it so that you're in the middle of it. There's some space between your head and the top of the screen. But you should be taking up about 3/4 of it. And the camera's got to be eye level. You want to be able to focus on it. And if you have to, go hit your labeler and do look here signs. I personally have found sparkly nail polish to be an enormous help because it catches the light regardless. But some of my colleagues might find it a little bit weird putting sparkly nail polish on their laptop camera. It's okay, no judgment. So, some helpful hints, a couple of ideas that you can use, and please do practice. Here's one last hint. After you record it, step back from it. Maybe go get a glass of wine, maybe a cold beer, maybe finally get lunch because you've probably been so busy you haven't eaten it. And then watch it after you've had a little bit of a break. If you've got someone in the house who you can trust to be absolutely candid with you, invite them to the showing. Bring popcorn. This video was brought to you by Leadership Driven Project Management Academy. I'm Kimi Zimski, and if you like the way we approach these with very simple, very straightforward suggestions, please subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of our regular audience. We're releasing videos on a pretty regular basis. And if there's a particular thing you'd like us to address, let us know. My contact information is always at the end of the video, and we would be delighted. Now, if it's already on our list, that's okay. We'll just, move the release date and the shooting date up a little bit. If it's not on our list, we'll put it on the list and put the shooting and release date up a little bit. Thanks for joining us.